Okay, Bez Hashem, we're going to be starting now. Chelik Beis, Perek Beis, Shabbos, Malchus. So, we're in the section discussing Chiddush. The Chiddush HaOlam, Hashem creating the world from nothingness. And now we're going to talk about how we're going to put the pieces together. How we're going to put the pieces from the Chelik Aleph, the Chelik of Malchus, and the Chelik Beis, Chiddush HaOlam. How do they come together on Shabbos? Me'ata masha Shabbos nikus Yom HaShvi'i midas HaMalchus. That's what we learned in the previous section, the first section of the Sefer, that Shabbos is called Malchus. Kamo shenitbar b'arichos Chelik Aleph, just like we explained in great depth in the Chelik Aleph. Hainu gilui kavod yisbarach b'toich ha'olam. That is the revelation of the greatness, the honor of Hashem in this world. What is the source, the foundation of this gilui, of this revelation of Hashem's Malchus? What is it? It's the Yisoid HaChiddush, the foundation that we discussed in great depth over the last couple of weeks, that Hashem created the world from nothingness. That is what is revealed on Shabbos. And here in this short parak, he's going to explain, well, how do we see that? How does that come out? That is through this foundation of the idea behind Chiddush, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world from nothingness. That is what is the kisei hakavod. That is the seat of honor that Hashem sits on in this world. Now this world could be a place of Kiddush Hashem. It's a place of the Shechina can be Shoira. HaShechina HaKadoisha nichneses l'toich ha'olam b'roiv ha'adra v'noirasa. The Shechina HaKadoisha comes into this world with a lot of great fear and grandeur. Lo rak shemeira b'toich ha'olam ela shemakipa et olam u'meloi ve'ein od milvado. Not just that the Shechina enlightens the entire world. Rather, the Shechina encompasses the entire world. Ein Od Milvado, there is nothing but Hashem. Hakol mikoyach havayechal. All of this, the great Shechina, the revelation of God in this world, comes about from the Vayichal, from the fact that Hashem finished creating the world. Sheberega shemizgala chidush ha'olam mizgala bepoyel hayichud ha'gomor. That from the moment that there is a gilui of this nekuda of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's creation of the entire world, that's when we can be bepoyel, see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Yachid Gomor. Now he goes on to explain what that means. We are here in this world only because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. It's very clear from Rashi and Parshas Bereshis, in the second day, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Vayirakia. What is a rakia? Rakia is the concept that the heavens are being held above us. And what's holding them? The words, Vayirakia. Hashem said that it should be that way, and it is. And Rashi says that it's like a person's hair standing on end. Why? Because of fear. The fear of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why is it doing what it's doing? Because Hashem said. That's it, because Hashem said. We are here in this world, and the whole world only exists because Hashem wants it to be that way. So it takes a constant ratzon Hashem for all of existence to continue to be here. Somebody asked, I don't know if it was last week, that we say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mechadish b'tuvo b'chol yom tamid. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is renewing everything every day. What does that mean, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is renewing everything every day? We had Bereshis. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. So what does it mean that Hashem is renewing? What it means is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to have a consistent ratzon, a desire that the world should exist and that every little prat of the world should exist in order for the world to exist. It has to be his ratzon. So just like the rakia is standing on edge because that's the Ratzon Hashem. So as long as we know there's a Ratzon Hashem that we should be here, then we're here. So if anybody wants to know, well, does Hashem really want me here? The answer is yes. How do I know Hashem really wants me here? Because if He didn't want you here, you wouldn't be here. You just wouldn't be here. Hashem can take care of our enemies in one moment just by not wanting them to be here. Hashem has to consistently give life to all of existence in order for all of existence to exist. That's what it means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mechadish b'chol yom. Ma'aseh Bereishis. He's renewing it because his ratzon has to consistently be there in order for all of existence to be there. And that's what he means here at the end of the second paragraph. V'im yasir hashgacha someh alav l'rega. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu removes his hashgacha, his watchful eye, batla mitziuso kolil, then we will lose the mitzius altogether. Nimcha she'um hu chai comes out if a person is alive. Zerak mimnei shaboy roitzi yishichya. It's only because Hashem wants you to be alive. Ve'im hoylech zerak mipnei shaboy roitzi sheyelech. If a person can walk, it's only because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to walk. Poni yamina mikoyach haboyre, you turn right with Hashem's power. Uponi smoila mikoyach haboyre. Anything that we have the ability to do, that we have the ability to move our fingers, that we have our ability to see, we have the ability to do anything, is only because that's Ratzon Hashem. Must be that Hashem has everything, has power over everything. We only exist. That's what it means. That Kodesh Baruch Hu is Mechadish, the whole world. That we only exist because of His Ratzon. Hashem wants us to be here. Now, there's an amazing story in the Navi. Just gonna add a little point over here. The Medrash brings that there's certain things that are not in the power of a person to do, and there's certain things that are in the power of a person to do. For example, sometimes seeing something it's not in our power. If something comes in front of us, we automatically see it. Sounds. If there's a sound that comes out of nowhere, we can't stop ourselves from hearing the sound because it's open. It just comes in against our will. But there's certain things in our power that we can decide. We can decide what to do. And even those things sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes away from us. For example, Medrash brings, by Bilam, the power of speech, l'choyer, is a power that we can decide. You can decide to talk and not to talk. I can decide whether to say something or not to say something. Yes, it's true, you can be forced into it, but it still has to be from my ratzon. I still have to say the words. It doesn't happen automatically. But Hashem took away that koyach from Bilam. That Bilam had to say what Hashem wanted him to say. And there's an amazing story in the Navi that I was just getting to. There's a story in the Navi about Yerovam ben Navat, that he was by his mizbeach for Avodah Zarah, and a Navi of Hashem came to him and gave him a nevuah that he was going to, about his death. And Yerovam wanted to punish this Navi. So he picked up his arm to direct his soldiers to grab the Navi. And his arm froze. He couldn't move his arm. It just froze. He couldn't bring it back. He couldn't pick it up. It just stayed where it was. Hashem could take away the koyach from anybody at any time, just like that. You think we can move? It's our power to move right or left. It's not even, people who, Rahman al-Islam, get into accidents or have other types of things that happen to them that they lose limbs. Unfortunately, in the last number of months, this has happened very often. So they don't have them anymore. You don't have the ability anymore. Here, Yerovam had his arm, but he couldn't use it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided, you can't use this anymore. That's it. Until the Navi davened for him, that he should be able to get his koyach back. Because every single thing that happens in this world, every single thing that happens is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives ratzon, that He wants that person to have the ability to do this, and that thing to have the ability to do that. Nothing in the world can happen without HaKadosh Baruch Hu's willing it, that it should exist, and that it should have power. Nothing. This is the power of his chachus that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives to everything in existence, that he wants that thing to exist. V'amru Chazal, I'm now in Oiz Beis. Kol mitpalo be'erev Shabbos v'oimer v'yechulu. Shnei malachi asharis hamalabin lo la'adam anichin yadeim al roisha v'oimrim lo isar abonecha v'chosezecha techaper. The two, if a person says, I mean this is when a person says Kiddush on Friday night, he says v'yechulu. Those two malachi asharis that escorted him home, they put their hands on his head and they say, your Averis, all your Averis should be erased. You should be get kapara for all of the Averis that you did. What's pshat? Just for saying Vayechulu. Just for saying Vayechulu, you get to have a kapara and everything. So Rav Pinkus explains that the Yisoid over here, the Yisoid of Chiddush that comes from the Parsha Vayechulu, like we described last week, that is such a strong koyach of emunah that when such a thing goes into a person's heart, they automatically have charata. Obviously, if a person says the words, they don't know what they're saying. I don't know. But here he's certainly talking about a person understands what's going on. What are the words that he's saying? So he explains, Ein Adam Oiver Avera. I'm on the top of Daf Nun Beis. Ein Adam Oiver Avera Ela Im Kein Nichnas Bo Ruach Shtus. A person doesn't do an Avera unless some kind of ruach shtus, some kind of foolish thought goes into his head. A foolish thought. What kind of foolish thought? Let's give an example. Let's say a person, just happened to me a little while ago, that I had a question, and to me, I thought the question was so important. It wasn't such a big, it was an important question, but I could have waited. But I decided I'm going to call anyway. I called a certain Rav very, very late at night. Very late. And it was totally inappropriate. I should have known that it was inappropriate to call so late at night. I should have known that. So why did I call? Ruach shtus. That's what it was. A ruach shtus. I made up some reason in my head that no, it was so important. And that's why I did something that was wrong. Because of Ruach Shtus. I made an excuse why it's okay. Why is it okay? Why are we running after everything in this world? Ruach Shtus. The truth of the matter is, Chazal even tell us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu dafka put the Olam Hazeh into the lave, into the heart of man, in order so that he should build up this world. Because otherwise nobody would care about Olam Hazeh at all. It doesn't make any sense for a person to spend all their time just doing things for Olam Hazeh, not for Olam Haba. It doesn't make any sense at all. If a person had an investment, and you know that if you invest a certain amount, you can make 10 times the amount, or if you invest a certain amount, you can make 1,000,000 times the amount, like what would the question be? I don't understand. Why would anybody do this when they could do something that is exponentially bigger? Why would anybody do that? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to make it so simple, even though from a logical perspective it is very simple. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu put this little bit, a ruach shtus, that the person has to be involved in Olam Hazeh and actually care about Olam Hazeh. We care about Olam Hazeh. Right? It's like somebody who built a huge mansion and he spends like 80% of the time working on the hallway. The hallway going into from the front door going in, he spends 80% of his time doing that, and the rest of the house gets 20%. Crazy? The hallways, all of a meter, 2 meters, like there's a whole big palace over here, and you're spending so much time on this? Why would you do that? Elamai is a ruach shtus. We don't use our logic. But when it becomes so in front of us, glaringly clear that this is the wrong thing to do, so then a person will have charata. So he says like this: a person does an aveira because of ruach shtus. Maya shtus zeh shechoite v'choishiv she'efshar be'etzem lasos neged ritzon yisparach. When a person does an aveira, so he actually thinks that it might work. That's a shtus. You think the aveira is going to help you? Person who steals, Rahman al-Islam. Person who steals. So what does he think? You actually think you're going to have more money? Just yesterday, I think it was yesterday, a guy told me a story. I'm very impressed with this guy, very impressed. He told me that a number of years ago, I don't know how many exactly, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, somebody he knows, I guess, I don't know if it was a business partner, I don't know exactly how it happened, but basically somebody stole from him a load of money. He said back then it was the amount that you could buy a deer with. Nowadays prices of deers have gone up, so I don't know, you can use the same money to buy a deer. But back then you could buy a deer with this money. That's how much money was stolen from him. And there are two things that came out from this. Two things that came out from this story. Listen to what happened. This person who I was talking to, who had all this money stolen from him, so he wanted to get his money back. And he spoke to I think it was a certain Rav, and the Rav told him, look, you could get your money back, but it'll take about 15 years. I don't know exactly why, I don't know. He said it will take about 15 years for you to get your money back. You will lose 15 years of your life. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Life is short. You're going to lose 15, you're going to give up 15 years of your life to get this money back. That's what you're going to do. Now, it's a very, very hard thing to swallow, such a thing. But he took it, and that's what he did. He didn't run after the money. He didn't run after the money. Because life is too important. Life, Torah and mitzvahs, what we're preparing for Olam Haba, is way too important. Way too important. I can't give up 15 years. I can't give up 15 years running after money. I can't do that. I'll waste 15 years of my life. Yeah, I'll get the money in the end. But I've wasted 15 years. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It sounds very logical, but it's a hard thing to do. So you see somebody who was no, I'm not going to let the shtus in. And he was right even. And I'll hear the other side of the story. The other side of the story is the one who stole the money. So he told me, the guy who stole the money, he doesn't have the money to pay. He lost his wife. His children don't want to have anything to do with him. He doesn't have a place to live. The guy lost everything. Lost everything. And he owes him all this money. You think by stealing you're going to get more? You think you're going to have more by stealing? You're going against Ratzon Hashem? You're not going to have more. You're not going to have more. And you know what? I'll add a nekuda. It's probably a good thing that this guy lost everything, because then at least maybe he'll get his oynish in Olam Hazeh. At least maybe he'll be able to have a good Olam Haba if he gets his punishment in Olam Hazeh. Well, Lamaisa, what did you gain? What did you gain? You can't. That's a shtus. That's what he says in the Ruach Shtus. You think you can go against Ratzon Hashem? You can't go against Ratzon Hashem. That's the shtus. Sheish chas v'sholem mokum ponui miratzoynu v'sham shayich metzius shalchet. You think you can go against Ratzon Hashem? You think it works? You're only here because of Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to be here. You only exist because of that. Aval kasher mevin hu she'ein shum metzius neged Ratzon Yisbarach. When he understands there is nothing besides the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Where does he understand that? He understands that in the Vayechulu. In getting up and saying over a cup of wine or grape juice, and he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. Everything in the world is only from Hashem. And Hashem rested on Shabbos. That's what he's saying. So he says, Nimsa shekola metzius kula be'etzem hirak his gashmut shel ritzono. Everything in this world is only from Hashem. Im kem lo yitochen klal lasos neged yisbarach. When he says Vayechulu, he's saying Hashem is everything. I can't do anything against Hashem. She'en shum metzius b'li ritzono. There is no existence without the Ratzon Hashem. Gam kol atzmo mitzius shel adam. Even everything that the fact that I exist, he mitzius shel Ratzon Hashem is only because Hashem wants me to be here. Ve'echi tochen lasos neged Ratzon Elyon. How could I possibly dream of doing something against Hashem? Shnemunach bazeh memela stira ve'kores umisa l'chol ikar mitzius. It will destroy me. That Hashem won't have a Ratzon, that I should be here anymore. Nimsa shebeshash oimer vayechulu. At the moment that a person says Vayechulu, Harei ze hakara biyichud Hashem Yisparach. He recognizes there is only one. Hashem is the creator of everything. Hashem is everything. Shelo yitachin klal chas v'shalom asot neged b'tzoino. So it's impossible to do something against him. That's what a person should realize when he's saying Vayechulu. Should realize, wow, Hashem is everything. Hashem created everything, which means He is the only thing. His Metzius is the only true Metzius. And His will is what brought about the entire creation of the world. And that's what I'm saying by Vayechulu. And that's what's happening on Shabbos, that Hashem is here. He's proclaiming, I am the Creator. I am everything, all of Metzius. And when a person says that, that's when he can have a real tshuva. Ve'ein lecha tshuva gedola mizu. Shematbik atzmo lahavana v'hakara shahachet hu hebech hametzius. He realizes that this is the opposite of Metzius. The sin is the opposite of Metzius. It's the opposite of all existence. And therefore, he'll be zoicha to get a kapara. The kapara doesn't just come because you do say some words. It comes from a real hakara, really understanding, how could I have done such a thing? Real tshuva comes from a charata, from feeling, how could I have done such a thing? How could I have done such a terrible aveira? But it's more than just a terrible aveira. How could I do something against Ratzon Hashem? It's impossible to do something against Ratzon Hashem. It goes against my whole existence to do something against Ratzon Hashem. That's a much deeper understanding of charata. And that way a person can reach a full tshuva, that he can get a kapara. Because you're coming back to the source. All I have is only from Hashem. And this comes from proclaiming Kadosh Baruch Hu as the creator of everything. When we say it on Friday nights, we say it numerous times. The truth of the matter is, the Medrash is talking about when a person comes home. But we say it 3 times already on Friday night. We say it in Shmona Esrei and Mariv. We say it after Shmona Esrei. And then we say it again ala kois. Okay. No, in Yom Kippur we say it in Shmona Esrei also, I think we say, we'll have to check a Yom Kippur Machzer. But, okay. If the Art Scroll Sitter has the Mariv on Yom Kippur, you can check. I don't recall 100%, but I do think we do say Vayechudu on Yom Kippur. No? Maybe not. You're right. You know what? It could be you're right. I don't remember. What? Okay, so then we'll only say it twice.
No, we are making Kiddush.
On Yom Tov we make Kiddush.
On Yom Tov
Right? We're getting a little bit off track. Yeah, let's get back. Now let's finish up the parak here. V'chein ma, I'm here in Ois Gimel. V'chein ma she'izbar le'el. B'ma shoyne Shabbos mikol ha'moadim. That which we learned before. Why is Shabbos different than all the other moadim of the year? Shekol moadim yesh ben givun miyuchad shal kedusha v'avoida v'kiyum mitzvahs. Every one of the Yomim Tovim has its own mahalach in serving Hashem. Like we know, Pesach is Zman Cheruseinu, where we became a nation. Shavuos is Zman Matan Toraseinu. We got the Torah. We became the Am of Hashem. And Sukkot is Zman Simchaseinu, where a person can be Shoyev Ruach HaKodesh, Shabbat Mayim B'Sason. Every Chag, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, they're all, Purim is coming up. Every Chag has their own, Chanukah, has their own approach to Avodas Hashem. Kol echad k'fi inyono miyuchad lo. Aval Shabbos, what about Shabbos? Ein la'ezeh ma'ilo madrega shezoich aleh. There's no special thing that we do. We don't have a special mitzvah on Shabbos. There's no special. We do this one thing or that thing. Shabbos is a revelation of Hashem. Like we've said in the first shurim, this is Hashem's day. Me'at midbarim advarim shemipnei mitzius haShabbos hi gilui chidush haod. Because the whole mitzius of Shabbos, that Shabbos is the completion of the creation, and that shows that the whole world was created from nothing, like we discussed in the last chapter. That shows that Shabbos is the Gilui Shechina. Where we're saying we're stopping working, we're not doing anything, because just like Hashem, Hashem Baruch Hu brought the work to an end. We're saying the whole world is only from Hashem. Ein Od Milvado, there is no one but Hashem. Nimsa gufa muhusa shel Shabbos. That is the essence of Shabbos. Shemegale bo'olam ha'ein Od Milvado. That there is nothing but Hashem. When the Creator reveals Himself, everything is done. It's quiet, and now we can feel and see the Creator. That's what Shabbos is. Uman nifla mashi Shabbos loves man tefillin. Very interesting. Shabbos is not a time of tefillin. Shle'ezet soich yesh likshor et ha'echad lemoicho libo bizman she'ha'echad makif as kol et klal ha'metzias kula. Why do you need tefillin? Is an ois. It's an ois that Hashem is one. So why do we need that one if that one is everywhere? The one is everywhere. Kamosha Amru Chazal HaShabbos hi atzmo ois. Shabbos itself is the ois, the sign of the oneness of Hashem. V'lachein gam ein tzorich b'Shabbos b'mitzvah miyuchedes kamo matzah v'shoifer. There's no mitzvah that's specific for Shabbos. Shemohusa mitzvah heim laharbos hakedusha v'hadveikus. What is the mahus of Shabbos? The mahus of the other mitzvahs is to bring more kedusha. Shabbos is everything. Shabbos is the source of all kedusha. Hashamayim atzma misaprin kavod kel. Va'aretz v'chol asher ba'hov ufchim l'kedusha u'kivyochol l'chefza shel mitzvah. You don't need to raise yourself up. You don't need any extra things to pick yourself up on Shabbos. Shabbos Memela is that Hashem is here. And you might say, what about what we're supposed to be having shalosh sudas by Shabbos? You're supposed to eat. We already discussed that eating on Shabbos is the equivalent of coming to Hashem's party. Hashem wants us to eat. We're at His party. It's a party in honor of Him, so that's why we have to eat. That's why we have to enjoy ourselves. If we come to Hashem's party and we don't eat, that's a big shtoch to Hashem. It's His day and we don't celebrate. We're going to discuss this more in Chelik Shlishi with all the different nuances of Shabbos, that they're supposed to be oineg on Shabbos, but that's in honor of Hashem. Not because we need it to raise ourselves up like the other mitzvahs of the other Yomim Tovim, that we need shofar, and we need lulav, we need sukkah, we need matzah. Here it's not that. Hashem is everything. Hashem is everywhere. Just that is enough. It's more than enough. It's everything. The whole world is elevated on Shabbos. The whole world gets elevated with a special high level of Kedusha. To be a chariot for the Shechina. All of this comes from this koyach of the emunah, of understanding HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world from nothingness, and that means that He is the only one. Right? That is the Yesod. We'll just speak it out one last time. The fact that we're saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Yesh Me'ayin shows that there is nothing besides for Hashem. Hashem is completely everything in Metzias. And He is one, and He is indivisible. And therefore, everything that's created is only coming from His Ratzon. Which is why also there's no reason even to daven for anything on Shabbos. Davening for specific things on Shabbos is not necessary. Why? Because if you're if you're connected to the source of everything, so memelo you have everything. You have everything. What do I need? What do I need to daven for? Even when we do a mishaberach lechoilim, we don't say specifically refuah. It should be Shabbos himi lizog. Refuah krov elovo. Because of Shabbos, that's why there's a refuah. Because Shabbos is the source of everything. Because Shabbos shows the Shechina of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As Hashem, we should all be zoiche to feel this more. Right? It's not just about doing it; it's about thinking about what we're doing and feeling what we're doing and making it more meaningful to ourselves. The more we can connect to the ideas of the Chiddush Olam, the ideas of Yichud of Hashem of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The idea is that that's what Shabbos is, and that's what we're saying, and that we believe and we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everything. So then how could I possibly do anything against him? And how could anything happen in the world that's not a Ratzon Hashem? That gives Shabbos the koyach to give us that emunah, the cornerstone of all of our lives, of our Yiddishkeit, to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is one and is the source of everything. Be'ez Hashem, we can use Shabbos to get us to these levels. Shkoyach.